This weekend, Jurassic World Dominion opened in theaters, which means it's time to rank all 6 Jurassic Park movies from the worst to the best. Coming in at last place at number 6 is Jurassic Park 3, a movie chock full of utterly stupid ideas that feels more like a bad parody of Jurassic Park or a movie you'd find on the Sci-Fi Channel. There's a scene where the character Alan Grant dreams about a talking velociraptor. There's a part where the characters only realize a dinosaur is stalking them because they hear a cell phone in his stomach ringing. Also, the effects look like they're from episode 1 of Star Wars, as opposed to the original, which still has really good effects. And yet, even though this movie's newer, the effects are somehow worse. The only good part about this movie is the T-Rex fight, and though the ending of that scene still remains very controversial with fans of the franchise to this day, it's still fun. However, the film doesn't feel like anything is resolved by the end and is just utterly stupid. Number 5, The Lost World. The biggest problem with this movie is there are a lot of plot inconsistencies between the first film and this one. A lawyer claims that 3 people died on the island in the original film, but it was actually more like 5 or 6. Ian and Malcolm's daughter is introduced, but he says in the first film he has 3 kids, and the other 2 were never mentioned. None of the new characters introduced in this film are interesting, and when the film should be wrapping up, it turns the last third into a generic and laughably bad Godzilla movie, and it feels very tacked on. Number 4, Jurassic World Dominion. While much like the other 2 movies lower on this list, it's unfocused, what makes it slightly better is that, unlike Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, it feels like the writers actually went back and watched the previous installments, so it is a bit better connected to the other films. However, the narrative is still incredibly unfocused, with too many plot lines that are bounced around very quickly, doesn't resolve the most interesting ideas of the film that are set up, and is overall just a mess. It does have the trademark dino terror, but not enough of it to be fun. It's a terrible movie, and the only reason it's not last place is, like I said, it at least tries to be better connected to the previous installments, whereas the other ones lower on this list did not. Number 3, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, a movie stuffed to the brim with absolutely stupid ideas. The film tries to be relevant to the 21st century with commentary on animal trafficking, but then the twist ending happens, and it pretty much negates any somewhat interesting ideas this film had because the ending is so stupid. It feels like 2 very different movies and doesn't really know what it wants to be, and the movie's script is almost devoid of any logic. After the Indominus Rex is killed, they make another hybrid called the Indoraptor, which is part Indominus Rex and part raptor, except the Indominus Rex was also part raptor. So they're taking the DNA of a dinosaur that was already part raptor and adding more raptor. And they train the raptors to attack anything that a gun with a laser sight points at, but wouldn't it just be easier to shoot while you're hunting since you already have a gun? The last act has some fun close-quarter dino suspense, but that's pretty much it. Number 2, Jurassic World, a worthy, though somewhat familiar sequel to the original. To enjoy this movie, you really have to buy into its utterly ridiculous premise. Yeah, sure, people died at the original park, but hey, let's rebuild it. And after so many years of the park being open to the public, they somehow got tired of actual living dinosaurs, so they need to make new ones in a lab in order to keep public interest. It's a dumb setup, but yet, at the same time, the film is just fun enough to work. Chris Pratt's character is interesting, the film replicates the terror of the original pretty well, and a lot of it is really, really fun, even if it doesn't really make much sense. And coming out at first place, of course, is Jurassic Park, the original, one of the most iconic movies ever made. Even almost 30 years later, it still holds up incredibly well. The story is interesting, the effects for the most part still hold up, it's just as exciting and terrifying as it was all those years ago. Out of all the movies on this list, it's the only one that still stands the test of time, and will likely continue to stand the test of time for generations, so it comes in at number 1. You can share your ranking of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, and I will see you next time.